Welcome to Beyond Words. My name is Whitney Diffendiffer, and today we are here with Ken Elliott. He is the author of the book Manifesting 1, 2, 3, and You Don't Need Number 3. So really it's just 2 steps. Ken is an author and an artist, and he today joins us to share his wisdom from his 25 years of exploring the art of manifesting. Ken, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. It's a real thrill to be here. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm very excited. I've read most of your book, and I have a lot of questions. And so anybody out there who's watching, please be sure to send in your questions. You can use the hashtag BWPresents, and you can also use the Google Hangouts app. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. So Ken, my very first question, of course, is what is manifesting? I mean, it's the most basic level of things because most people just step over that and think that everybody knows what manifesting is, but it's also the most complicated question, I'm sure. So what is it in your perspective?
Well, for me, and the way I approach this book, it's all very simple. And that's what people keep saying about the book. It is so simple. They've never heard it so simple. And no one's ever asked me that question before. What is manifesting? Manifesting is the ability to create anything. Let's illustrate that. Mankind's been on the earth for a long time. Many thousands of years. And let's think of all the things that people have invented. Let's not talk about manifesting in a larger sense, conceptually, all of that. Just the things they've invented. Things. Not politics, but airplanes and phones and matchsticks and cigarettes and ice cream cones and all that kind of stuff. It's in the trillions. It's in the trillions. And I was fortunate to have come across a couple of people who could observe how your thoughts make things.
Okay.
Let that just sink in. You can push a button and something will be manufactured. An object will pop out of the box of the little machine. Mm-hmm. They have observed that. And it's 20 years for me that I have been sending things to Judy Goodman, judygoodman.com, and every time I sent her something in thought, with no training, no techniques, no props, nothing, I'd simply send her something in thought and call her a little later or the next day, and she got the thing I sent every time. Now, what I later learned from becoming very close to William Buhlman, he's the foremost out-of-body author, William Buhlman, B-U-H-L-M-A-N, he made an offhand remark one day about his wish list. Now, this is before I knew anything about wish lists or vision boards. I'm just a regular guy, you know. I'm starting to have some very interesting paranormal experiences because it was just what was supposed to be happening to me at the time. But after meeting a number of authors, and William became very, very close, he made this offhand remark that things on his wish list, he'd make a list of things, might be 10, 12 items, they would come true. Yeah, fine. Yeah, he's a guy. Guys don't make lists. He's a guy's guy. I don't make lists. He doesn't make lists. But he's making lists. That's weird. And then he's talking about this stuff coming true. Now, he's very special. He's an author. He goes to the other side, the spirit world. And it's just like talking to Magellan or Columbus. It's really amazing, all the stuff over there. And he made an offhand remark that he could see the things on his wish list taking form over there. I went, what? What do you mean? He said, well, I can write these things down on a list, and he goes over there, and on occasion he'll go to this spot, this place. It's not some formal thing, but there are the things that he has on his list, and they're in various stages of formation.
So he would go to the afterlife and see his wishes sort of becoming something over there?
Yeah, well, it's not the afterlife.
Okay.
Some people call it the near astral plane, but your deceased relatives are there. It's their afterlife. And I don't want to get into how big it is and how vast and how many layers and yada, yada, yada. It's much more labyrinthian than this world. But, yeah, he can go over there and see those things on the other side. people that go out of body, or you get these stories where someone gets in a car crash and they float up and they see the ambulance and they go over there and they meet people and they say you got to go back, and they slam back into the body, which is now in the hospital. They left their body and they were somewhere else, and they were out of pain, and they're very happy. They didn't want to come back. Very pleasant over there.
Hmm.
So he would see these things that look like wisps of smoke. And over there you have a great knowing about many things. So he could look at that wisp of smoke, and that might be something that he put on it. Well, it would be something he put on his list. It's something he's touching. He has that list. He touches it every day, or he'll look at it. Maybe put a candle on it, or he'll put it on the mirror where he sees it in the morning. What he's doing is, what he learned is that thoughts are real things. They create things. And all you have to do is repeat the thought, and then William would see the result over there. That wisp of smoke starts to take on more form. Mm-hmm. If he's been doing it for a couple of weeks, it starts to take this little fuzzy 3D kind of shape of a what? Of the new lamp he needs. And it's been working on it longer, maybe it's a couple of months. It's very 3D, and it gets a blush of color. Now, before something comes over to the physical world, and that's the aha of this whole thing, it's very, very 3D. It's fully solid over there in the spirit world. Mm-hmm. And it full color, full 3D, the whole thing. You can set your watch by it, is coming over. Now, Judy and I, very close, and we're in communication a lot, and occasionally she would tell me that something's about to happen. Now, she's incredibly psychic, one of the most gifted people possibly on the planet. You need to go look at that website. But it's interesting to have somebody call you and say that thing you've been working on, that you've been manifesting, is about to happen. Get ready. Now, one time it wasn't good news. I said, I took care of that. She said, oh, no, 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 no. It's coming. You did not stop this, and it's coming at you like a freight train. It's going to happen. Now, it wasn't a car accident, but it was pretty serious. And having 24 hours notice wasn't very helpful, because there wasn't much I could do about it. On the other hand, there had been a business thing I wanted to do, and she called me. She said, that internet plan that you have, that internet business, is going back to smoke. Do you care about that? Have you forgotten about that? And I said, it's very complicated. We can't protect it from hackers, so I'm going to let it go. She said, it's going back to smoke. You almost had it. I said, it'd be too expensive for us to protect, so let it go. You can see the ebb and flow of these things. It sounds ridiculous, but after doing this for almost 20 years, I got it. I'm a little thick-headed, but if you do this 20, 30, 40, 50 times with these little objects, like a 3-year-old, you get the picture. And in the book, I actually got on the phone with Judy one time in real time and put an object in her chair from 2,100 miles away, and that was a heck of a thing, and that was a very complicated object. And it happened in real time. In 6 minutes, it began to form on the other side, and she can see, sense enough to see the other side from her physical chair. She could see that taking form in real time. That was a stunner. And if I could do it, everybody's doing it.
And when you say taking form, and because I thought the object that you chose was rather entertaining, a Staffy Duck holding a sign, right?
Yes, yes.
The one you're talking about. When you say that it is taking form over there, it's because she has a heightened sense of being able to understand those things, or was it actually physically showing up there?
No, she can see the other side. Now, there are a lot of very, very gifted people. I don't want to take away from any of them, but her giftedness is above most bars. So she can see thought. That's the thing. That's quite a concept. This is way past looking at auras and you know, intuiting things. She's seeing it and hearing it. But I wouldn't send it in. Now that I think of it, I could have sent something with sound. I could have made him quack. It never occurred to me before. Try to animate it, you know, with a sound. But I have animated things and sent them. But I didn't have them make sound. And this is not a God thing. I wasn't thinking about that when I sent something that was animated. And looking back, I went, oh, what was that? Good Lord, if I knew what I was doing, I would have never attempted that. It'd be impossible.
So
it didn't last long. Yeah.
As you talk about these things, it's like in that particular case, the thought was something kind of silly and just fun, so to experiment, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then you took another step. You went beyond the I'm just going to create something to test this to actually having it have an impact on your life, like having the
Yeah,
thoughts that you were making have an impact on your life. So what
yeah.
does that look like?
Well, before that looked like, let me tell you what I looked like. I was just a goofball. I just looked like a nut job because, after you do something like that and you have a cause and effect a dozen times or more, you might take the time to sit down and go, huh, I wonder what that means. Did I ever do that? Nah. I, you know, I'm pretty regular. Nothing special going on here. And I'm doing extraordinary things that no one's ever written about, to my knowledge. No one's ever experienced. If they have, they haven't written about it. Surely somebody's experienced it somewhere. And in fact, I kept waiting for somebody else to write this book. Because I'm an artist. I'm not a writer. Now I am, but I waited around for a couple of years, shoulda, coulda. Somebody's going to take care of this, and nobody did. In the meantime, I'm still sending these objects. So coming back around to your question, I didn't do anything with this. Now, William had told me how thought works. And my biggest, the hardest thing about explaining this is getting this across, how important it is. I learned how thought works. I learned that thought can make anything. What did I do with it? Oh, nothing much. Nothing. Nothing. I just wait around until I was bored and I'd send Judy something else. I was a goof. I was a goof. Now, she can see down the road, there's something about me in this book, if I have half a clue. And I might have to get struck by lightning to do it. I don't know what it was going to take. But she was very patient with me. Now, William had given me the keys to the kingdom. He hadn't written about it. He would talk about it. He didn't make a thing out of it because he's about going out of body and all that is. And I ran this by Judy because she goes out of body every night. William goes out of body many times a week. So there's thousands of trips between these people that go out of body. And Judy confirmed what William said. What did I do? Nothing. Boring. It didn't hit me. It just didn't hit me. So I'm trying to, get the computer, just shake the screen here and bring this across. We're going to learn how thought works. It's terribly important, and you can make anything. And now you already know that it forms up as smoke. Now, what everybody's doing in the manifesting game is the words, attitudes, procedures, techniques. It gets very complicated. It comes from a lot of angles. Different people have different perspectives on this, but they don't know how it works. And I support everybody that's asking and praying. That's a different topic altogether. But let's start asking. Let's start asking. So coming forward, the question about manifesting, was it?
I just have a completely, you've been begging this question like this whole time. I'm like, so how does thought work? How does it work?
Yeah, you think it starts to make a vapor in the field around you. You've been doing this all your life. Oh my God, I forgot to breathe. Will you help me? I forgot to breathe. Oh my God. No, we've been doing this all our life. And no one's expert on breathing, but everybody gets it done. Gravity, everybody's expert on gravity. I'm expert in gravity. What's this? Whatever. We don't worry about gravity. Don't worry about manifesting. You're already doing it. And your life, as it is right now, a lot of it is because of what we have thought. And your thoughts will make things. Concepts and little red sports cars. They'll make anything. One of the first stories I got back was a woman in Iceland who manifested a little red sports car because I used that in the book. So I like to throw out little red sports cars. So the book is Manifesting 123. And by the way, the website's manifesting123.com. And every Friday there's a new story from a reader, almost every Friday. And there's well over 100 of them on the website that are archived, and you can word search them for different topics. It's a lot of fun, and it's just crazy good stuff. All right, so when William told me how thought works, and I couldn't sing things to William. He didn't have that gifted vision, but he told me plenty. He gave me the foundation for the whole ball of wax. And then I would send things to Judy, but see, Judy's very special, and William's very special, and I'm not. So even though I knew this and I could send this stuff, well, I'm not special enough to even consider doing this for myself. It never came up. It never came up. But I kept collecting this personal evidence and getting things from William, from his story. And then one day I saw The Secret. So I said, you got to see this. Because I talk about this to friends. I didn't know much about it, but I knew how things worked. But I just never, I had a car, but it didn't have a steering wheel. Really, you know. It had an engine, had everything, but no steering wheel. So I was doing nothing with it. I just sit in the car and talk about the car. I saw The Secret, and I turned it off, and I just had to sit down. I was just stunned. Because there's a lot of experts, very good people, coming at it from different angles. They're all talking about pretty much the same thing, but they don't know how it works. That's not an insult. They don't have that experience, so they're using all the collected stories and best practices to help us arrive at the best result, right? What else would you do? You know, when you go down the highway, you see that yellow line? Do not ever drive on the yellow line. It's dangerous in the middle. No, you got to stay on the left side. You know, so that's what was going on. But now I knew about the engine in the car, and now I had a steering wheel, and I had the key. And I could put that key in there and start that engine, and it would start every time. And I could point that thing where I wanted it to go. And I wasn't wishing and hoping.
Yeah. Well, and you mentioned The Secret, which is one of the books that we published now 10 years ago. And we have a few other authors, as you say. I mean, there's lots and lots of books out there about manifesting. And I mean, I totally get what you say. It's the difference between knowing what's behind something and the thing itself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what people are fascinated with and just kind of stop at are, here are these promises that you can manifest things and then they will happen in their lives, but they don't ask the question of how does it happen? Why does it happen? What is it that's happening outside of what we can see that's making that red sports car show up for me? Right. So what is the value in knowing how it works?
Well, because I don't have to wish and hope. I'm not going to petition the water faucet. I'm not going to make a wish list. I'm not going to watch my language towards the water faucet. Yes, I will. I'm not going to go out of my way to make ceremony with water faucet because I know it's hooked up to the water plant. And it's been hooked up to the water plant since before I was born. And that's good enough for me. Now, I don't know who made the hookup. I don't know who invented all that stuff, but it works every time. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong with the pipe. You know, it's a solid hookup. And every time I sent something to Judy, she got it every time. So it is a game changer in the sense that you don't have to doubt it. You can if you want, but it doesn't matter if you doubt it. Gravity doesn't care if you do good things or bad things with it. It just pulls things to the ground. It doesn't judge. And thought is a natural law, most apparently, and it doesn't judge. So you can make so-called good things and so-called bad things. So now you are free, and you have the foundational information to make anything. Concepts are things. And I made wish lists. I don't anymore, and I recommend that you do both. It's perfectly okay. Wish list, vision boards. All it is layers of intention. So the analogy I like to use is you are manifesting a new career, and it's like you take a piece of paper and you lay it on the other side. Day comes around again, once a day, take another piece of paper, you do it again. Oh, that's a crumpled one. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. Well, I'll put it over there anyway. That's a half a page. This one's burned. I'll put them over there anyway. Oh, I forgot for 3 days. But eventually, when you stay with it, you're going to have a substantial amount of Xerox paper over there. It's very solid, and it just comes into the physical world. It's too much for that side. I speculate, but I don't know. but my friends see it. Now, William, when he made his second list, he told me the first one. It all came true. And the first thing he put on the second list is, I want to live in China. And you mean you want to visit China? I said, no, I want to live there. I said, why? I said, I don't know. I want to live there for a couple of years. I said, and I thought to myself, well, that's a ridiculous thing to put on a list. That ain't going to happen. His wife worked for General Motors. You know, she's a career woman, executive. This ain't going to happen. Within 6 weeks, she comes home and says, Bill, I need to ask you a question. General Motors contacted me, and they want me to head up a plant in China. Would you be willing to live there for an extended amount of time? They ended up in China for 4 years.
Wow.
He was done with China after that. But, you know, quite impossible things happen. And certainly I've had plenty of it, and the website is full of them. Mm-hmm. So I love, love, love The Secret. I love, love, love what everybody is doing to manifesting it. And most of the people are very above board on this thing. And there's zillions of books. And God bless The Secret, because it wrapped the world millions and millions of times. And people got what they got. Mm-hmm. And some people got all they needed, and some people were more than confused, but that's the way it is with anything. But, you know, I saw it like 16 times because I kept bringing people over. I'd have parties around that thing. And the more I saw it, the more I was convinced how powerful it really was. But what happened with The Secret, for the very first time, I learned that I could do this for myself. Mm. Instead of just playing with it, I could use it in a practical way. Maybe it's a little woo-woo, but I know it's not woo-woo. My friend's in China at the time. He's woo-wooing over there. Is that woo-woo when you go to China? So I started using it, and things started to happen. And now I'm talking about this every day. I'm 2 years down the road, and in those 2 years, as best I can remember, there's only 8 days I didn't talk about this to somebody. I was just a Johnny Appleseed of this thing, but no one had heard of this. And in the so-called regular world and the people in the metaphysical world, there are a lot of people very interested in this. And they would tell me about these coincidences, and we all have them. There's real coincidences. I mean, with 7 billion people popping around, things are going to happen mathematically. But every once in a while, a businessman would say it's the XYZ thing with the pink dots on it, and it would happen. It would come back to him in exactly that form, and he'd go, now, wait a minute. You need to write a book about this. I said, well, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. But I never did. Finally, when I figured out, well, it was given to me about fear, then I had it. And I couldn't think it up, and I couldn't find it in the literature. It just came to me because I was in a jam. I got my perfect house, mm-hmm. and ran up a big American Express bill, and now that first payment is due, both of them, and it scared the hell out of me. I didn't have it. I had it in savings, but this is not going to keep working at this rate. And another friend called me who's in real estate here, the #1 agent in this area, and we're at the bottom of the market, and she's exhausting her savings. She's about to drain it. Mm. And we'd seen The Secret together, and we had talked about another facet that I've got, and we've got this thing covered. We have it figured out. The world is our oyster, and the very next morning I wake up and I'm worried about money. She's worried about money. She called me. She said, you need to do something about this fear, because we understand that thoughts will make things, and worry is a thought, mm-hmm. and it's loaded up with fear. That happy thing is the thought, and it's loaded up with love. And those are very big forces that you put behind these things, and it makes them come true. It makes them build, I'll put it that way. So when I came up with the #2, how to deal with the fear, and it was a download. I don't get many downloads. I've had about that many, but this came in full cloth, and I knew the book was done.
Awesome. So step 1 being, just to make it super clear, what is step 1 of manifesting?
Well, here's the cool thing about thoughts. I don't want you to think of them in a limited way, because they're not.
Okay.
Air covers the whole planet. Your thoughts can cover everything and beyond. Mm-hmm. Universe and beyond. So here's a unique, well, there's many unique features about thought. Probably 99% of them I don't know, but here's one that we can put to great use. Your mm-hmm. thoughts can make the future. That's a heck of a thing. Heck of a thing. if you believe it or not. And by the way, it doesn't matter if you believe thought or not. It's making it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It helps to whistle a happy tune, as we say. But going forward on that, so the number one in manifesting 1, 2, 3 is simply this. A lot of people talking about meditation or clear your mind. That's impossible for me to clear my mind. Meditation, I'm so not good at meditation. This is not an act of faith. Oh, boy. No, it's not that. It's not any gauge you can think of. So I had to think of something that anybody can do because everybody's doing this. So I have to come up with some kind of structure for this, even though we're already doing it. And so I came up with a movie. And knowing about the future, imagine you're in the future. You're in your own personal movie, and you're in the future. And in your future, you're sitting on your couch in your future at the end of the day. Wherever you go, that couch goes. You can touch that couch. Sometimes I rub that couch like Aladdin's lamp. I want to be in the future on that couch because I'm imagining something. You can hear the birds outside. You can breathe the air in your future. And there you are, eyes closed, and you're breathing the air in your future. And you make this observation, and your thoughts will go to work on it instantly. You imagine you have perfect health. Now that's a weak force. Now let's bring in the strong force. I'm in my future, and in my future I have perfect health. I'm so very grateful. Mm. And you just accelerated that thought. Now for all those years, I would just think about something really, 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 really hard, and it was hard. It was hard, but I got results anyway. You can just, bludgeon the stuff into an existence. You can make it happen. But if you just say this thing and imagine it, you don't have to be an artist. You don't have to be in theater. You don't have to be a creative. You simply imagine it. You don't have to have a picture. Imagine you have perfect health, and then you say, I'm so very grateful. You let it go. And you say that every day. It will create your future with perfect health. Now let's get down into the nibs a little bit on that. What does that mean? You have a chronically bad leg. Maybe you have heart arrhythmia you've had since birth, and you're going to have it. If you go in your future and you have perfect health, they may go away. Mm-hmm. It's highly likely that what would probably happen is that it doesn't bother you as much as it does now. Mm. It's just as perfect as it can be, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't a miracle. The Red Sea didn't part. The angel didn't come down and hit you with the fairy dust, But in your future, you're really, really good with this. And I've seen that a number of times. So in your future, and I use perfect a lot. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with perfect. And why would you ask for something less than perfect if you can make anything?
Well, and perfect is subjective too, so there's...
Yeah. So give me something you would want to see different in your future.
Well, it's actually really interesting. As I was reading your book, and I read that, what is one future that I would want to create for myself. I have a chronically bad back, and I had a flare up of my back. And as reading your book, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I would like a perfectly healthy back.
Okay. Have you been doing that, by the way?
No, I hadn't.
That's perfectly normal. But if someone gave you a certificate for your back to feel better, mm-hmm. Go ahead and use it if you like. It's free to try. You don't have to tell anybody that you're doing this crazy stuff.
Okay.
You're highly likely you're going to get a result. Hmm. Now, what could happen? It could be technology. It could be a head game. Mm-hmm. It could be you hurt your back another way, in the opposite way, some crazy thing, and it's, mm-hmm. It's either really good or it's a lot better than it used to be, and you're cool with better than it used to be.
Yes.
Anything, because the back is a pretty severely painful place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's, as you say that, the first thing that I think of, it's the perspective that I have on it as well. I mean, that it's a thought. The thought that I have about my back is that it's a bad back.
Yeah. Well, it could be.
I live into that future.
Yeah. Well, it could be bad. Mm-hmm. Let's get it really, really clear. Your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts can make anything, and they can make the future.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. One more example. You don't like your job. And I like to say careers. Who wants a job when you have a career? So you want something different. And in your future, you imagine you can be on the couch at the end of the day again.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to envision this office. It can be in your house. You may not have a job. Your career may be um, something that is not 9 to 5 at all. Your career may be that you're blogging in your jammies. We don't know what that is, but it's perfect. So you imagine that you're in your perfect career. Now you can be in a gathering where there are other people, but I wouldn't limit anything about the perfect career. There's a lot of things that could be perfect. Um, a perfect partner.
Mm-hmm.
In my future, I'm with my perfect partner, and she sits next to me on the couch, and I feel the cushion sink in a little bit, and I just pat her on the leg. I don't look at my perfect partner because I don't want to specify that she has to look like this, this, and this, and start putting limits on it. See, another thing about thoughts is that they're very, very literal. So
Okay.
if you're typing the number 7 on your computer, it's only going to make sevens. That's all it's going to do.
Yes.
And I've been on the other side enough that when you say a thing, it will literally create exactly what you say. Nothing else. Nothing else. Literal.
Mm-hmm.
So if I turn to look at my perfect partner, I have made specifications. Height, weight, hair, 100 of them in a look.
Mm-hmm.
And that really limits the possibilities, the potentiality. On the perfect career, don't specify because it's already happened in your future. You're just observing this has already taken place. You're in your future at the end of the day, and you're having a nice glass of wine. I just love my future. Did I tell you? I just love, love, love my career. And people admire me, and I'm fulfilled. I'm taken care of financially. My gosh, it couldn't be better. I can't believe how this happened. You don't even know what it is, how it happened, where it is.
Mm-hmm.
But your future is making that. It's making perfection for
Mm-hmm.
you. And you're grateful. You're just grateful. So if I specify before I get that perfect career that I have to quit my job, get another place to live, move to Cincinnati, lose 5 pounds, get a new work. Are you kidding me? Your thoughts have to make all those things. It's ridiculous to put those specifications in when your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts can freely make anything. This sounds too good to be true. I'm the greatest snake oil salesman in the world, but it's not. It's true. And I've tested this and tested this and tested this, and I'm not the guy that's supposed to write the book. I had to write the book. If you discovered a new fruit, it was just growing outside your house. You've never seen anything like it. You took it down to the county, and they looked that thing over and said, "My God, we've never seen. Have you got more of these?" I said,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, and I think they're safe to eat, and it's better than an orange. It's amazing." And they go, "Well, let me see that." And you go, "Oh my God, you made this big discovery. What would you do?" You couldn't shut up about it.
Mm-hmm.
You try to make more because it's a really good thing. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just some fruit trying to make.
Well, and I really love what you're saying in terms of, don't look at your partner, don't specify the details of your career, because
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people, especially when one of our authors, Mike Dooley, one of his catchphrases is thoughts become things.
Yes.
And frequently you try to create that very detailed image. And really and truly, if you asked me what my perfect career looked like,
Yeah.
specifics, like
Yeah.
what would I be doing,
Yeah.
where would it be, all of those details, I honestly don't know.
No. Do you
And I
want
think,
perfect?
yeah, because I don't know what perfect necessarily is for me. I guess I don't know myself that well yet.
Well, you don't know what the potentialities are. It's a big, big
Yes.
world. It's a big, big
Yeah.
world. Um, and think big. Richard Branson 2 months ago announced he's going to Mars.
Okay.
Does that work for you? I mean, is that big enough? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And and uh, uh, and maybe he just I'm not going to speculate on that. He may be a nuts and bolts guy, but I think he's a great visionary. There was a thought about going to Mars, and when I look at the Manhattan skyline, all I think of is trillions of puffs of smoke first.
Mm.
It was a thought before it became a thing. And by the way, I salute Dooley, Mike Dooley. I just love what he does, and his brother Andy. They put it out there straight up and really, really good, and don't mess around it. And I just love their ethics about the whole thing. And he's making a big wave. Secret does too. All those people are doing it that way. So I'm just the knucklehead that for whatever the reason became the guy that experienced how it works.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm underpinning and supporting all that's been put out there, but in the same breath I'm saying it's a lot simpler than we knew, because we're trying so many techniques and different ways to arrive at a success. No, it's pretty direct, very direct. You can complicate it all you want, but it's not necessary.
Well, one of the things that we talked about before we actually got on air was the thought of limitations, and like you just used the example of Richard Branson saying that he's going to go to the moon, and
Mars.
To me, or tomorrow. Sorry,
forget moon. Mars. We're way past the moon now.
We went to the moon. That's done. But just in terms of the immediate thought that happens to me, and I'm sure because it's happening to me, it's happened to millions of other people, was, okay, great, that's good for him, because he's that kind of person. He's Richard Branson. He has all that money. He can do those kinds of things.
Yeah.
For me, I'll wish a little bit smaller. And that's, I mean, I don't think I have any desire to go to Mars, so I'm kind of like, that can be his.
Yeah.
But just in comparison, it's like I automatically put that over there.
Yeah.
Not something that's mine to do as well.
Yeah. Well, forget Mars, but you're not any less special than Richard Branson. Mm. You're not any less worthy. Not a smidgen less. And you are equally endowed with the power of manifesting. He's using the same toolbox you've got. He has the same little engine you have. Mm-hmm. He can't do gravity better than you. He can't use thought better than you, but he'll focus it on something and roll with it. You have things that you make, that we all make, but you don't have to think small. Mm-hmm. And don't put detail in this thing unless you absolutely want detail. If in your future you're in Portugal, the coast of Portugal, then put all the coast of Portugal in there you can think of. And as you see more, the next day put more in there. And you're so in Portugal, right? Mm-hmm. And that's that. I used to do a thing where I would go into a hotel room and put my bag down in my future, and I'd go out and hold a rail, the balcony of the room, and I'd look out and it was all white because I didn't want to limit where in the world I would be. Mm. And in a very short time, I went to a place, I was holding a rail, and I was looking at the Caribbean, and I was basically there, all expenses paid. There for 10 days. All I had to do was a round-trip ticket.
Wow. And
it was resort experience in a private residence with other people, 10 of us. And there was as much or more staff than there were us at the place. So it was a little slice of heaven. That happened pretty quick. And not long after that, I made a new friend, someone that stayed over here for a time, a very gifted person, and wanted to do something for me at the end of that 3-day stay. We just became friends for life. And I said, you don't have to do anything. She said, no, you don't understand. I worked for a large airline. I'm going to put you on my buddy pass list. Now, here's what I was saying in my future. I'm in my future, and I got away from the hotel room and the balcony. I took some detail out. I'm in my future, and in my future, I meet wonderful people, and I learn wonderful things, and I see marvelous places, and I don't have to worry about the time away or the money to get there. And don't forget, I'm so very grateful. So in a very short time after the Caribbean experience, which was purely a manifesting thing, that was amazing, this woman says, I'm going to put you on my buddy pass list. I said, are you kidding me? Now, that takes care of, don't have to worry about the money to get there. I can fly standby to a lot of destinations in the world. Mm-hmm. It's standby, but free, right? How could it happen that I could get my own private Air Force? That's essentially what we're talking about. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it was just that simple thing I just told you. And I do meet people like you. I do learn wonderful things, and I do see wonderful places that I don't have a bucket list of places to go to, and it freed me up. I'm going to places I would have never put on a bucket list, and I'm so
Mm.
grateful for the whole experience.
Mm. Yeah, gratitude is something you do mention in your book, and it's something that it's actually just been coming up a lot
It has.
on Facebook and just in the general lexicon right now. Gratitude is a
Yeah.
really, really big thing,
Yeah.
and I think we skip that step a lot. Just
Yeah.
in a society that moves so quickly, we just skip it.
Yeah. Well, we skip trying to make things too.
Mm. We
So,
just take what comes.
yeah, I'm challenging everybody that's listening to this to go over this radio program. There's more on my website at manifesting123.com and give it a shot. Buy the book or don't buy the book. By the way, here's this little thing too. These are cute. This is a 4 gigabyte jump drive, and the book is embedded on here permanently. It takes up a tiny bit of space. And I have this in my key ring because somebody's always wanting a file or something like that. I'm a little tech head, so I have this little thing. So this the same price as the book. Very handy to have. Um, I can't urge people enough to give it a try. You can do it in the dark. You can do it in the car. You don't have to take time and be on a couch quietly. I'm very busy, so I do a lot of manifesting when I'm driving. And when I'm sitting on the couch doing this, I'll fall asleep, or the pink elephant will come around because I'm really not very good at this. But I get spectacular results. I'm not saying you have to be good at concentration. You don't have to be gifted at all. You're already doing it. You're already doing it. Um, I have so much fun with this because I love the stories that come back from people that try. Now, most of us will get on this when we're desperate. We'll pray, and they go, "Oh, what was that? What was that thing that guy said?" Oh, Brian. All right. Well, if you have the book, you have this little cheat sheet.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 4 things on here: the 1, 2, 3, and there's the gratitude. You don't even need the number 3. So back to gratitude. I'll speculate about the gratitude is coming out because it's a truth,
Mm-hmm.
and we need it. And people are talking about it, and they're getting results, so they keep talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. When I'm manifesting, when any of us are manifesting, this is the weak force, the thought. And when you put gratitude on it, that's love. 2 great forces in the universe, love and fear. Up and down, light and dark, that kind of thing, love and fear. And it's a huge accelerator. And instead of my having to concentrate so hard, I think of the thing, visualize it. I don't even visualize it very well, but it's a repetitive thought. There's that intention I'm putting over there every day. Put the gratitude behind it, and off it goes. Now, in the book, Judy Goodman put this out one day, and I thought, she did it in a workshop. Her workshop's just spectacular, by the way. And she put this thing out there and just went right over my head. Hey, that's the metaphysical 1.0, you know. Every day, say 7 grateful things.
Okay.
It didn't do anything for me. It really didn't. Until I discovered how important it was, quite accidentally. It's in the book how that happened, but what's going on energetically, for those that want to go into that sort of conversation, and Judy can see this, when you're manifesting, all the stuff around you is being created. And I also have my own personal junkyard of junk. I didn't say an apology for this. I said something I have no idea, that somebody was hurt, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And when you say 7 grateful things every day, I'm so grateful for my health. I'm so grateful that I live comfortably. I'm so grateful for that wonderful vacation I took 10 years ago. You can be grateful for things that happened in the past, because what it's doing is clearing the field around you energetically, and nothing becomes entangled. And gratitude is accelerating everything, even things in the past. And the sheer thought of my saying, I'm so grateful for that European vacation 10 years ago, is a weak thought, but it got some force on it. Another thing that's happening with people, they're doing the gratitude, they're doing their manifesting, and then I'll get a call. Sometimes they call me pretty early in the morning because they just woke up. Something happened. They said, I woke up happy. I haven't been happy since junior high. My family has not been that. And my life lately, I woke up happy. And here's the real funny thing. They'll say, I know it's permanent. Now, where does that come from? People don't talk that way. They don't. And a businessman said that. High stress, millions of dollars. People get very attached to their money, you know. And so he gets calls and there's pressure and all that to perform. And he said he woke up, called me from the office, he said he woke up and the stress was at a whole new level. It was just like, it just hit a low hum, you know, it just wasn't this thing. And he was very calm. He went to the office, the stuff is still coming at him. He's observing this and he's handling it like a pro. Well, he is a pro, but he's in another level with this stuff. And he called me and he said, I don't know what's going on, but this is a permanent thing. And that caught my ear, because that happened to be a couple of times on things. I woke up happy one day, happier, and it was permanent. I woke up knowing that I'd never be lonely again. Now, that's a weird concept. And never be lonely again. And I knew it instantly. Very strange to have that happen, but we're spending a lot of time in our future, a little bit every day, and your future that you created doesn't have these problems in it. It doesn't. So as a side effect, your future makes it for you anyway.
And when you're creating your movie, you're creating your future. Something I've noticed about the language that you use, you don't say, I won't be, or I don't have, or whatever that is, that's sort of guarding against something that maybe you don't want now.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Is that something you really want people to stay away from?
Yeah, this is not complicated. My pledge, this is not complicated. Go get it. You know, get the book, listen to the interview, and go get them. But I'll give you a couple of things. Remember, it's very literal. We're typing sevens on the computer, right? We're typing Portugal, or we're typing the perfect career. We don't need to know what it is, but it's already happened. I've got to underline that. When you're in the future, it's already happened. You don't know how. You don't care. You want the outcome. That's why we're doing this. We want this outcome. So if there's something in your now that bothers you, you don't like that boss. You can't get around the boss. In your future, the boss is not a problem. You don't see the boss. You don't even see that job. But you don't have problems with bosses in your future. Now, what's happened for people? He moved to another department. He left the company. He had an epiphany. And he gathered everybody around. He said, you know what? My 2-year-old son said something the other day, and it changed my life. I apologize for this crappy stuff I've been doing. If I misbehaved and everybody puts their hands up, you know, oh, well, it's a big joke now. And he said, help me be a better boss. What was that? You know, it can happen 1,000 different ways. I'm having too much fun with this because it's so unlimited. I don't even know where to go.
But I understand what you're saying. It's just instead of saying I don't want to have to deal with my boss anymore, or I don't want to have to deal with my back anymore, or anything like that. It's just not even a thing there, so you wouldn't think to talk about it when you're creating your movie for your future.
Well, you have that thing about the back, and you can specify that in your future it's not an issue. And you're so grateful. You didn't ask for a miracle. You didn't ask for a new medical technique. It's just not an issue. And let's get into the number 2, maybe, and I can put those things together.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, what is that number 2? Because I love the idea of the movie, and I'm in my mind, I'm starting to create mine, and it's really fun.
So here's a little more clarity. Thoughts are things. That's what Andy and Mike say. Thoughts are things, and they truly are. And my friends, not just William and Judy, but other people who are so gifted they can observe it. So that's a new wrinkle in all of this. This is very, very, very important. So I wish I had a white lab coat with a little thing here, and I said, this works. Well, I don't have that. I'm a regular guy, and after 20 years of experience, I can give you that. So let's be clear. When you think of something, it starts to build. Now, if you're watching a television commercial, and it's about bubble gum, or it's hairspray, or whatever it is, don't worry about that stuff. Because every day you're not going to sit down and singularly think about some advertising jingle and put gratitude behind it. It'll never form up. It'll never get anywhere. But worries are thoughts. And oh boy, do we repeat those thoughts. I can't. This is bad. Oh my God, this is happening. How can I stop this? This hurts. And my God, how many books are there? You can fill a house with all the self-help books and on how to deal with problems.
Mm-hmm.
Now, imagine that you have a singular tool. I have so many apps on my phone that people at Apple Store freak out. I don't use them all, but I just like to have them. And I have an app for everything. Now you have an app for everything. Let's see. You can manifest anything. There it is. This is your app.
Mm-hmm.
This one singular app. It'll make anything. So in your future, well, in this real world, you have a worry. And it's the middle of the night. What would be a worry in the middle of the night?
Mm-hmm.
What would you worry about? What would somebody worry about in the middle of the night?
Getting everything done that they need to get done the next day.
Oh my God, are you kidding? Nobody gets that done, do they?
No.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's a very important one. Everything in this book was given to me, except one thing. I have my own idea. I'm gonna come around to that one in just a sec. So you're thinking you can't get everything done in the middle of the night, and your thoughts. Let's get this straight. Your thoughts will make anything. So your thoughts are now going to work on the idea that you can't get anything done, and they will happily, merrily make it in the most efficient and positive way possible because you've empowered it with fear.
Oh.
And you can. I love the way you did that. Oh. I want everybody to go, oh.
Oh.
Let's make it go, oh, around the world. You have a thought, and if you empower it with love or fear, it will make it in the most efficient way possible. It's like taking a glass of water and you fill it up with water. A glass, you fill it up with water. It will efficiently make that shape as fast as it can, as fast as possible. And the more you do it, the more it's on the job. And it'll eventually make that happen. In fact, you're probably reinforcing that already. So after I wrote the book, I remember when Judy comes to town, she has a lot of appointments with people, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And we're in the car, and somebody will call on a Wednesday and say, I have to cancel the Wednesday appointment. My child is sick. I could do a Friday. And we're riding along. I say, I'm so sorry. We're all booked, but we'll get back to you if something opens up on Friday. And Judy and I look at each other, because when I'm with Judy, we call it Judy time. Judy time. You want to see perfect parking places in airports? All the time. Crazy good stuff. So Judy time. So before the end of the day, sometimes a minute, sometimes after lunch, somebody will call and say, I can't do Friday, but I've got Wednesday open. Is there a chance? And I used to get these cards and do diagrams, look like a cat's cradle. I don't do that anymore. It's Judy time. So I needed Ken time because I didn't have any personal time. I wasn't getting everything done. I was overwhelmed. I'm getting more and more stress. I'm worried that I'm letting people down. I'm worried that I'm going to miss appointments, that I'll be late for things, that I can't get it all done. So in my future, I got a little ramped up just thinking about that. I'm going to calm down and say, in my future, this every day, I have perfectly synchronized time. I saw that Judy has that. I want some of that. I have perfectly synchronized time. It's perfectly synchronized between what I'm here to do, in parentheses, that's my life's purpose. I'm getting to do that now, thank you. It's synchronized between what I'm here to do, my mind is already going somewhere else. Let me back up. In my future, I have perfectly synchronized time between what I'm here to do, my relationships, friends, family, all that, my careers. I have a couple. I have this, and I'm an artist. And here's the big one, my personal time. I didn't have personal time for about 4 years.
What is personal time? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Where I'm not, oh yeah, you fooled me, yeah. Yeah, you're going to have personal time. If you do nothing else, do this one. This is your proof of concept. And I've observed that people that do this get a quick result. If you're looking for the perfect career, somebody's going to leave, they're going to do a building, I don't know. It maybe a few moving parts. Sometimes it happens instantly. But this personal time thing, it's you. It's you and an unlimited matrix of solutions. So this can happen pretty fast. It's been my experience, the experience of others. And you have that look on your face. So I so hope that you get on this, if nothing else, kind of like, oh yeah, really? Well, I could sure use some of that. Yeah,
It is one of the things that many people ignore, including myself. I mean, I'm always trying to get done what I need to get done for my husband, for my job, for my
yeah,
family,
yeah,
what all that is. And of course, by the time all of those things are done, I've usually gone into some sort of deficit someplace.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's because you're responsible and you're a good person, so you worry about that. And a lot of what you're worrying about are those responsibilities to other people.
Hmm.
So when you have your personal time, well, don't tell too many people, but sometimes when I get tired, I just lay down. I've been doing
What?
it for a while. Sometimes I fall asleep and it's still light outside. I
That's just crazy.
know, I know, I know. Years ago, somebody put me in charge of this little business. It was just a shop. And I didn't realize what a AAA personality I was. I
Hmm.
almost passed out a couple of times. I had to grab the counter because I'm about to pass out from the stress on this small time business. I mean, really, it's a jungle out there. Did anybody tell you? So I don't have that. I'm not late. I was 30 minutes early for this program. I thought I was late, and I went, how could I be late? Oh my God, I was 30 minutes ahead.
Hmm.
And I thought something had failed.
Hmm.
I thought a wheel had fallen off of this thing because if I'm late, they're late. If I need some time, they'll call me and say, I can't do this week. Those
Mm.
everyday 12 o'clock things, can't do it this week. Well, oh, great, I have the deadlines for make artwork. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, it's great. So
So,
on this, go ahead, please.
so there's just one question that I have for you that gets asked of all of our authors who work in this realm of manifesting, and I'm really curious to hear what you say. And it's you know when you think about people who are dealing with really hard things in their lives,
Yeah.
it's the question of, do you believe that they created that those hard things should happen to them through their thoughts?
Well, let's say I never heard if Hitler had chronic colds because he was a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he got sick because he was doing horrible things. Good things happen to good people.
Mm.
This is the best I can give you on this. This is what I get from Judy and William, who go to the other side and see a lot of territory and the experiences of plenty of people in the literature.
Mm.
Um, my theory: we have a destiny. We're going to meet people. We're going to meet that template, or we're going to meet that person. We're going to learn that thing. We're going to come here with different proclivities for not so good things and good things. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
have a little script, and there's actors in the play that come and go in our life, and they bring this thing along. Um, and some of the perpetrators and some of the people that help us. Yeah, but there's that little script. And if you take it as a pie chart, maybe that's not a whole lot of the script doesn't take up a whole lot of that spot. And I've learned from manifesting there's a whole lot of area that you can do anything you want to do in. If you wanna, so you can live comfortably, you can live miserably, you can live happily, you can live unhappily.
Mm-hmm.
You can think that you're beautiful or ugly or handsome or horrible. But you know, if you're not that perfect model, and you are manifesting that you are very well thought of, and people tell you that you're lovely, that has nothing to do with beauty. People are going to start coming up to you and say you're lovely. They will say the thing. Another
Mm.
little test: if you want to have wisdom, we already have some. Want more wisdom? In your future, you have wisdom, and you're so very grateful.
Mm.
Give it under a month, and they're going to come and tell you the thing because you're going to say something, and you'll go, "Where did that come from?" And they'll get right back and say, "That's so wise." That happens to me all the time. Am I wise? No, but the stuff comes in every once in a while, and I say it, and I'm trying to catch the words. I'm trying to figure it out too. I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
"That's so wise." They say, "That's so wise."
Mm.
It just came in. It just came in.
Mm.
So there's concepts. Thoughts are things, as Mike says, but concepts. Thoughts are concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here we are, very close to the end of our hour, and I just want to reiterate for everybody because I think what you said is really fantastic, and I can't wait to get to work on it myself. But the 3 steps that you've got, and of course you don't need number 3, but manifesting, number 1 being you create your future, you make your movie, you don't look at your perfect partner, you just have it be perfect, and then you deal
Yeah,
with the fear.
yeah. Let's say it easier to
Sure.
create as a stumbling block for people. You're in
Mm,
your future in a movie. Nobody flunks watching a movie. That's my thing with a
true.
movie. Everybody gets an A at watching a movie. All right. If you're 3 years old, if you're 83 years old, so you're in your movie. It's already happened.
Mm,
Period. Walk
got it.
around it. Detail if you have to have detail, or you don't have to have a lot of detail. And then the fear. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so dealing with your fear and then the gratitude part and saying thank you and having that be the supercharge to whatever it is that you're manifesting.
Yeah.
Is that
I'll
about
clear,
right?
I'll clearly outline the fear. What I was given to close the book was take action on your worries. What does that
Mm,
mean? All right. So you're having trouble with time.
mm-hmm,
So in the middle of the night, you can create that lack of time. You're creating lack. And
mm,
when people say the word want, you're creating want. You're
mm,
wanting. Don't use that word. I don't have many rules. Don't say need. You're creating need. You're needy, and you're creating neediness. It's very
mm.
literal. So you desire, you command, you are becoming, those kind of words.
Okay.
Um, at number 3, you're very powerful. You don't have to be Superman to do this. You don't need number 3, but you are powerful, so we can throw that
Mm,
away. So take action on your worries. So in your case, you'll get your smartphone or grab a piece of paper, turn on the light. All right, I can't afford to have this thought and load it with fear. Can't afford to make myself sick or not get the bills paid. I can't afford to be screwing around and not have any free time. This is not healthy.
mm-hmm,
So what am I going to do? All right, I'm going to, number 1, I'm going to look at how I work my calendars on my electronics, and I'm going to organize this stuff. Number 2, I'm going to look into a personal assistant, even if it's for 30 minutes a week.
mm,
Number 3, I'm going to log what I do or have somebody do it. And I'm going to find out what is unnecessary. Number 4, I'm going to play all the damn solitaire I want before I go to bed. If that's all the free time I get, that's what I'm going to do, and that'll make me happy. But
mm,
so you're going to take action in a practical way.
mm-hmm,
If it was money, you're going to call the boss. You're going to look for a mentor. You're going to look in the want ads. You might look at that little side business. You're going to take action on these concerns. I don't even call them worries anymore. And guess what? You're going to the future, and in your future, this doesn't exist.
mm-hmm.
And you're taking practical action on this problem. Atta boy, atta girl. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all. Well, you can say a prayer. Put it out
Mm,
there. I never got a tour of the prayer department. I get over there enough, but no. But that's a different system. But these intentions are literally building something,
mm-hmm.
and you've got to. I can't tell you. Quit worrying about it. Books do. They have all these.
Yes.
They have all these practical, pretty practical ways and cockamamie ways. 5 margaritas would help, but that's not a real good solution. Um, so this is a way where you can do something positive. You're going to take action on that concern.
Mm,
You're doing a couple of things. My thought is doing something that I don't want. I got to stop this. That's
mm-hmm.
another reason knowing how thought works is so terribly important. It's really good for the good things, but it's critical for the bad things.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's critical for the bad things. Anybody can be a Pollyanna, but when the chips are down, you don't want to be creating stuff you don't need in your life. So you know how it works, and you're taking action. That feels good.
Mm,
If you were looking for a job, and oh my God, I'm doing this 3 or 4 times a day, but you're out there looking for a job. And another thing about all of this is, going back to The Secret, the law of attraction is a really good tagline, beautiful
mm,
tagline, and it is true. But nothing happens until you have the first thought,
mm,
and then things are attracted to this. If you don't have a thought, There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
First thought. Now there's a target. So when you're manifesting, we become targets. We have to get out of the house. We have to say yes more. So we want you to go to this little banquet. Ken, you always give us art every year. We want you to be there. It's going to be a nice table of friends or strangers, and you got to wear tux. And I know it's downtown, and I say, yeah, I'll be there. I just say yes. I'm not an idiot about it, but I say yes a lot more than I used to. Just like that movie where Curry had to say yes. Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Do what he did. Oh, so much truth in that. Changed his life. So the law of attraction is true, but it's the first thought. So as I like to say, point yourself to happiness.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get on a bus, and you're going to drive us downtown. And we're going to get up on the interstate highway, and we're going to 70 miles an hour, and there's 30 or 40 of us, and we're singing 59 bottles on the wall. That's how far we are. And you decide you don't care about going downtown, and you take your hands off the wheel. We're screaming bloody murder.
Mm-hmm.
You don't care. 70 miles an hour, and you just let it go. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not a scientist, but I can extrapolate. This is one of those things, Einstein's little thought form things. You're now in a sea of other people's intentions. You've got 4 lanes of people. They know where they're going. Mm-hmm. It's 70 miles an hour, and we don't care, or we don't know. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get taken right off the highway. So let's point ourselves where we want to go. And if you get that little card, that little coupon, where you can make anything, thoughts will make anything, go for it. Go to Mars if you like. Get a new career if you like. Get a perfect partner if you like. Create less pain in your body. Create perfect health, or its equivalent. And there's a big word, the equivalent. Mm. It's money, 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 money. It's happy, 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 happy. It's all. There's equivalents for those things. Mm-hmm. You get a reduction in the rent. Well, that's like money. You didn't have to punch in and punch out for that. So things happen in a lot of different ways. People have had remarkable things happen in their lives in all different categories, and they were equivalent things. Mm-hmm. The guy that was having stress at work, his work wasn't less stressful. Something clicked in him. Mm-hmm. It's like that barking dog, barking. Did I say barking dog, barking dog, barking dog, barking dog? And you don't hear it anymore, but sometimes you hear the barking dog, barking dog. And in your future, there's no barking dog that bothers you. You didn't kill the dog. It's just not an issue. And and someday down the road, you have people over that go, "What's with the dog?" And you go, "What dog?" Yeah, I don't hear babies on a plane.
Yeah.
They can be sitting next to me. I don't hear the babies on a plane. I hear them. I don't hear them. So.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Now, if you're a mom, you're going to hear. I'm not wired to be a mom, so it's a little different. Okay.
Well, Ken, thank you so much for being on the show with us. It's absolutely fascinating to chat with you for this last hour. And just one more time for everybody who is watching, be sure to go to his website, manifesting123.com, and read all of those accounts of the amazing things that have happened to people, because I'm sure you'll find yourself in there someplace.
Yeah, get on that newsletter. And if I use your story, you're going to get a book.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you so much, Ken, and here's to continuing to spread this word across the world.
Let's do it. It's a huge, 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 huge thrill for me to be here with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day. And everyone out there watching, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on our next Beyond Words Presents. Thank you so much.